The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, the Cabinet of Sri Lanka has decided to keep the Special Commodity Levy Act in place in order to continue safeguarding farmers and reducing the impact on food prices. In November 2024, Sri Lanka exported 20.07 million kilograms of tea, a 6.4% decrease from November 2023's 21.46 million kilos. Every category has declined. On the fourth trading day of the week, the market showed mixed momentum, with the S&P SL20 trending lower, while the ASPI held onto its gains. And the Federal Reserve announced that it would lower interest rates by 0.5 percentage point by the end of 2025 in light of its economic outlook.
From Studio 24, here's Sanuvi Mudanayaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Sri Lanka's cabinet has reversed its earlier decision to abolish the Special Commodity Levy Act, opting to maintain the levy in order to continue protecting farmers and its impact on food prices.
Sri Lanka's cabinet has reversed its decision to abolish the special commodity levy tax, citing concerns about protecting farmers and its impact on food prices. The SCL tax, which prevents tax on tax situations, has been criticized for imposing high levies on basic foods, particularly maize, rice and potatoes, making essential calories expensive for the malnourished. Critics argue that Sri Lanka's protectionist taxes designed to promote self-sufficiency inadvertently hurt vulnerable populations, especially poor children. A cabinet paper proposed by President Kumara Dissanayake, which seeks to continue the tax rates from January next year, was approved. The SCL tax has been imposed under a policy of domestic production but faces opposition for its negative effects on public health. Despite an agreement with the IMF to replace the SCL with a value-added tax, the government has opted to maintain the current tax structure. This reversal comes amid concerns that the removal of the SCL would undermine local farmers and raise food prices.
Sri Lanka's tea exports in November 2024 dropped to 20.07 million kilograms, marking a 6.4% decline compared to 21.46 million kilograms in November of 2023. All categories experienced a decrease, with the exception of tea packets, which saw a modest increase.
Sri Lanka's tea exports for November this year totaled 20.07 million kilograms, a 6.4% decrease compared to 21.46 million kilograms in November last year. The average free on board value for the month stood at 1,718 rupees and 88 cents per kilogram, marking a slight drop of 6.89 rupees year-on-year. Despite this decline, cumulative exports from January to November this year reached 223.22 million kilograms, up 2.06 million kilograms from 221.16 million kilograms in the same period last year. Tea in bulk, tea bags and green tea saw positive growth, while tea packets and instant tea experienced declines. The cumulative FOB value for the period was 1,769 rupees and 93 cents per kilogram, reflecting a decrease of 2.48 rupees year-on-year, but a slight increase in dollar terms. Export earnings in rupee terms showed declines across most categories except for tea in bulk and tea packets. Iraq remained the largest import of Ceylon tea, purchasing 30.37 million kilograms, which is a marginal decrease from 30.53 million kilograms in the previous year.
Australian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, His Excellency Paul Stephens, and his team met with Mr. Mangala Vijayasinghe, Chairman and CEO of the Export Development Board, to discuss strengthening bilateral trade relations. Over the past 75 years, the relationship between Sri Lanka and Australia has grown through trade, investment, tourism and cultural exchanges. Australia is Sri Lanka's 11th largest export destination, with exports totaling $226.51 million in 2023 and the 24th largest source of imports, valued at $185.89 million. Sri Lanka enjoys a favorable trade balance of approximately $40 million with Australia. During the meeting, Mr. Vijayasinghe outlined the new government's vision for export development and emphasized the importance of foreign direct investment. He also highlighted the government's intention to expedite the FDI approval process to attract investors. Sri Lanka remains the top 5 Asian destinations for Russian tourists, with record winter visits expected, says Yandex. The country continues to attract significant interest due to its scenic beauty and cultural offerings.
Sri Lanka ranked 5th among Asian destinations for Russian tourists based on travel-related queries on Yandex during the first 8 months of the year. It trailed behind Thailand, China, the Maldives and Vietnam. While the number of searches for travel to Sri Lanka declined slightly by 3.4% year-on-year to 884,395 queries, the interest in the destination remains strong. A survey conducted by Yandex in September involving 717 Russians who travel abroad at least once a year found that 25% expressed interest in visiting Sri Lanka, making it the 6th most popular global destination. Remarkably, 84% of survey participants had never visited Sri Lanka before, indicating significant untapped potential. Moreover, 10% of respondents plan to vacation in Sri Lanka in 2024 to 2025. Sri Lanka's wildlife, favorable climate and unique experiences such as Ayurveda treatments and safaris were identified as key attractions for Russian tourists. These factors continue to make Sri Lanka an appealing destination for travelers seeking both adventure and relaxation.
Comfort Mattress Lanka Limited has become the first investor to establish operations in the upgraded Hambantota International Port's Industrial Park, following recent improvements to crane facilities aimed at expanding container operations. The company has committed $25 million to build a 62,000 square meter factory for sponge mattresses manufacturing, targeting export markets in the USA, Europe and Canada. Under a 30-year renewable lease agreement with the Hambantota Port Group, Comfort Mattress Lanka will import raw materials from Southeast Asia and China with an expected annual output of 7,000 tonners. The project is set to create significant employment opportunities with a focus on youth training in technical and mechanical skills in the Hambantota district. This collaboration highlights HIPG's ability to attract global businesses and support Sri Lanka's goal of becoming a modern trade and industrial hub. Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. The market displayed mixed momentum on the fourth trading day, as the ASPI managed to hold on to its gains while the S&P/SL experienced a downward trend. For further insights, we speak with Kavya Senadira from Capital Alliance Securities.
The Colombo Stock Exchange concluded on a positive note compared to the previous trading session. The market closed at 14,654.26 points, marking a 40-point increase from the previous session. The turnover for the day was 5.8 billion rupees. The SNL 20 index also experienced a decline, dropping 3.3 points to the end of the day at 4,400 points. Institutional engagement was subdued with the market activity primarily driven by retail investors across various sectors. The top turnover recorded in LVL Energy Fund Lanka, Milk Foods and Browns Investment Limited. The top 5 gainers for the day were SMB Leasing, non-voting, Autodrome, Abans Finance, Abans Electrical PLC and SMB Leasing voting. The top 5 losers for the day were Maharaja Foods, Vansay Royal Resort Tikkadua, Laugh Gas non-voting and Sarvodaya Development Finance.
President Anura Kumara Dissanayaka's announcement of pay tax exemptions for professionals is expected to boost investor confidence and drive market growth. For further insights, we speak with Anjali Matthews from First Capital Holdings.
The recent tax reforms announced by the Sri Lankan government, alongside amendments to the Aswasuma Welfare Benefits Program, aim to provide financial relief, stimulate investment and support both domestic and manufacturing exports. So starting in April 2025, the government will increase the personal income tax-free threshold from Rs 100,000 to Rs 150,000 per month, which largely benefits middle-income families by reducing their tax burden and increasing their disposable income. The expansion of income tax slabs will also help individuals earning up to Rs 1 million annually pay less tax, offering significant savings. So corporate tax reforms include a 15% tax on service exports, which is effective from April 2025, which will remove exemptions from sectors like IT and BPOs, aligning Sri Lanka with regional tax practices. And additionally, the withholding tax rate on interest will also increase from 5 to 10%, through low-income individuals will have the option to request exemptions. The government is also removing restrictions on vehicle imports, so starting with public transport and goods vehicles by February 2025, and this will open up the market and stimulate the automotive sector. The government is also focusing on supporting domestic manufacturing, and a notable change is the reintroduction of the VAT exemptions for locally produced liquid milk and yogurt, which will be effective from April 2025. So this measure is expected to benefit the domestic dairy industry, reducing costs for local producers and ultimately making dairy products more affordable for consumers. Additionally, the VAT will apply to digital services at 18% based on consumers' jurisdiction, ensuring fair contributions from global digital service providers. The simplified VAT scheme will continue easing cash flows issues for exporters. Additionally, the Cabinet has approved increases to the Aswasuma welfare benefits. Monthly allowances for the poor and extremely poor will rise, with the poorest receiving up to Rs 17,500, while benefit periods for vulnerable groups will be extended until 2025. So these reforms essentially aim to reduce the tax burden on individuals, foster economic growth, and support vulnerable populations during the recovery period.
Gold prices rose by more than 1% today, recovering from a one-month low as the market absorbed the U.S. Federal Reserve's indication of gradual policy easing next year. Spot gold increased by 1.3%, reaching $2,620.08 per ounce after hitting its lowest point since November 18th earlier in the session. Meanwhile, the U.S. gold futures saw a 0.8% decline, settling at $2,633.20. Investors are closely awaiting further economic data to assess the health of the economy. The Fed's signal has sparked hopes of reduced interest rates, which could benefit gold's appeal as a safe haven asset. However, concerns over inflation and geopolitical risks continue to influence market sentiment. Oil prices dropped in Asian trade today, pressured by a stronger dollar following the Federal Reserve's projection of a slower pace of interest rate cuts coming in the next year. Brent oil futures February delivery fell at 0.5%, reaching $73.02 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude dropped 0.6% to $69.60 per barrel. The decline in prices was also fueled by mixed U.S. inventory data, which suggested a cooling in fuel demand as the winter season sets in. Market participants are also monitoring global economic conditions, which could influence future demand for oil. The uncertainty surrounding supply disruptions and geopolitical tensions continues to add volatile to crude prices. The Sri Lankan rupee has further depreciated against the US dollar in commercial banks today compared to yesterday. At Commercial Bank, both the buying and selling rates of the US dollar have risen. Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee is performing against other global currencies. A short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back. McLaren's Group, the exclusive distributor of premium 3M automotive products in Sri Lanka, has officially launched the highly anticipated 3M ceramic coating.
McLaren's Group has officially launched the highly anticipated 3M ceramic coating in Sri Lanka, offering outstanding protection and lasting shine for vehicles. The product was introduced at a successful launch event at the Autoglance Centre in Kohwala, attracting industry professionals, vehicle owners and automobile enthusiasts. Key attendees included Ashutosh Shirodkar, Director of 3M Automotive Aftermarket Division for Asia, and Amlendra Kumar Singh, Vice President of 3M India's Automotive Aftermarkets Division. The 3M ceramic coating shields vehicles from environmental factors such as UV radiation. Its hydrophobic properties make the coating easy to clean and maintain while providing a deep, durable shine. Additionally, it offers chemical resistance, safeguarding the vehicle's paint from abrasive substances and impurities.
K. Sundar Raj has been appointed as the independent non-executive director to the boards of LOLC Holdings PLC and Brown & Company PLC. With over 29 years of experience in accounting, auditing and tax consulting, Sundar Raj brings extensive expertise to his new role. He began his career as a chartered accountant in 1998 and currently serves as a tax partner at Amarsekar & Co. Chartered Accountants. Sundar Raj is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka and holds a Master of Business Administration in Finance from the University of Colombo. His appointment further strengthens the governance and strategic direction of both companies. Sundar Raj's wealth of knowledge is expected to contribute significantly to the continued growth and success of LOLC Holdings and Brown & Company. Kumarika from Hema's Consumer Brands has introduced a unique initiative, offering personalized hair care experiences through its mobile salon truck Hair Play Studio.
Kumarika has launched the Hair Play campaign, offering customers a unique opportunity to experience the benefits of its latest range of shampoo and conditioner crafted for all Sri Lankan hair types. The initiative provides personalized and enjoyable sessions designed to address individual hair care needs. The experience begins with a personalized hair analysis, where a professional recommends the most suitable Kumarika product for the customer's specific hair concerns. Customers will then enjoy a hair wash using the recommended shampoo and conditioner, providing a first-hand feel of the product. The new range includes damage repair, hydrating, strong hair, and healthy and black variants designed to address issues like damaged, dry, frizzy, weak, and dull hair. These products offer protection against hair damage caused by heat styling tools, treatments, pollution, and weather conditions. The launch expands Kumarika's portfolio, which already includes hair oils, shampoos, conditioners, and hair serums.
The Sri Lankan Airlines Toastmasters Club celebrated its 22nd annual office installation ceremony at the Sri Lankan Aviation College in Katunayaka, marking a milestone in its long-standing legacy. The event was graced by Chief Guest Sunil Disanayake, former Head of Human Resources at Sri Lankan Airlines and founder of the club in 2002. Also attending were key divisional representatives from Toastmasters, including Ganga Fernando, District Director of District 82, and Niroshan Nadaraja, Program Quality Director of District 82. Members of the senior management team of Sri Lankan Airlines, as well as Toastmaster Club presidents and members from neighbouring clubs, were also present. The ceremony highlighted the club's rich history and promising future in fostering communication and leadership skills. Hales Electronics Limited, a trailblazer in sustainable energy solutions, hosted an impactful partner forum in Kandy, uniting over 40 local businesses and key representatives from Huawei Technologies.
HEL's forum highlighted its strategic vision for Sri Lanka's transition to smarter, more efficient energy solutions. The event showcased cutting-edge technologies including Huawei's Fusion Solar Smart PV and energy storage systems which offer unmatched efficiency and reliability. Attendees also explored Solax inverters with mobile app integration for easy energy management and JA solar panels known for their high performance and sleek design. The forum provided a platform for collaboration, empowering partners to utilize advanced energy solutions to meet Sri Lanka's renewable energy needs. HEL, with its strong legacy of trading excellence, is committed to ensuring top-quality solar components that meet global standards. This reinforces its role as a trusted leader in renewable solutions.
Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Asian stocks experienced sharp declines today, with the technology shares leading the losses following the Federal Reserve's projection of a slower pace of interest rate cuts in 2025, creating a challenging environment for risk-driven markets. South Korea's Kospi index dropped 1.7% as political turmoil sparked by President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment over a failed attempt to impose military rule continued to weigh on sentiment. Japan's Nikkei 225 and Topix both fell 0.5% after earlier losses exceeding 1%. Losses in tech and shipmaking stocks contributed to a 1% drop in Hong Kong's Hang Seng index. Chinese markets also retreated, with the Shanghai Shen CSI 300 and Shanghai Composite indexes losing 0.4% and 0.7% respectively. US stocks plunged after the Federal Reserve signaled that it would cut rates totaling a 0.5 percentage point by the end of 2025 in view of its economic projections.
U.S. stocks plunged on Wednesday, with all three major indexes posting their biggest daily decline in months after the Federal Reserve cut interest rates but signaled a slower pace of rate cuts to come. The Dow dropped more than 2.5%, suffering its 10th straight session of declines, one shy of its longest-ever losing streak. The S&P 500 plummeted nearly 3%, and the Nasdaq nosedived more than 3.5%. The Fed cut rates by a 0.25 percentage point, which the market had all but priced in. But the central bank disappointed investors by signaling it may cut rates just twice in 2025, given the solid labor market and the recent stall in lowering inflation. Despite Wednesday's sell-off, the Dow is up more than 12% on the year, while the S&P has rallied about 23% and the Nasdaq has shot up more than 29%. Shares of cryptocurrency-related companies were some of the hardest hit on Wednesday after Fed Chair Jerome Powell threw cold water on President-elect Donald Trump's potential plan of creating a national Bitcoin reserve. In his Wednesday press conference, Powell said the central bank is not allowed to own Bitcoin and is not seeking a law change in order to do so. Shares of Bitcoin proxy MicroStrategy tumbled 9.5%, while Bitcoin miners Mara Holdings and Riot Platforms plunged more than 12% and 14%, respectively. Small-cap stocks, seen as benefiting from a lower-rate environment, also fell after the Fed's outlook, with the small-cap Russell 2000 index shedding 4.4%, its biggest drop since June of 2022.
Nissan Motors' biggest shareholder, the French manufacturer Renault, is open to the Japanese automaker pursuing merger negotiations with rival Honda Motors.
Japanese auto giants Nissan and Honda are in talks to form an alliance. That's according to a source close to the matter. But there's one European party that will take a particularly keen interest in how things develop. French automaker Renault is Nissan's largest shareholder. Two sources have told the car giant is open in principle to Nissan pursuing talks with Honda. The sources said Renault would examine all the implications of a tie-up to ensure its own interests are protected. Japanese auto giants Honda and Nissan are reportedly in talks to set up a holding company. The move could help them share more resources to face tough competition. A spokesperson for Renault said on principle the automaker supports Nissan's efforts to restore its business situation, but they declined to comment on the current merger talks. The talks were first reported by Japan's Nikkei newspaper. Investors were pleased by the report as Nissan's stock rocketed up by close to a quarter. Renault jumped up over 6%, but Honda dipped 3%.
That's all from us on the Nightly Business Report for today. We'll see you again with the latest business updates in the global world. Until then, I am Sunny Mudanayaka. Thank you for watching and have a good night.